Today's lesson, lesson 5.5, is on similar figures and proportions. Today's learning goal is I can understand similar figures are proportional. If you need more information on similar figures, you can go to page 164 in the textbook, which is lesson 4-4. Let's look at some jokes. Check out this trick my dog can do. I don't see a dog. Exactly, isn't he incredible? What have I told you? You read the top line wrong. What I have told you, you read the top line wrong. To begin this lesson, it's essential we talk about some vocabulary. Similar figures are figures that have the same shape but not necessarily the same size. This symbol means similar to. Corresponding sides. Same position but on a different shape. Notice how this is the left side of our triangle here. This corresponds with the left side of this triangle. So they're in the same position but different shape. Notice how the lines are green and green and then blue and blue? Those are all corresponding. Our final vocabulary word is congruent. A congruent shape is a fancy word for the same. You'll notice that they're almost copies of each other. Actually, they are copies of each other. See how they're the exact same thing? So you can think of the C in congruent and then think of copy, C, congruent, copy, same. That might help you remember that congruent means copy. I'm going to do the duration of this lesson in a British accent. Let's begin. We have two figures here. They appear different. Notice how the sides are different in measurements. But notice how the angles are the same. We're trying to determine whether or not these triangles are in fact similar. There's a procedure we need to follow to determine whether these are similar or not. I'll begin by identifying what are our corresponding sides. AB corresponds with DE. Remember, the definition for corresponds is the same position relative to the other line. Same position, different line. We want to make sure we include line segments above AB and DE. Next, we have to identify what other sides correspond. BC corresponds to EF. Again, same position, different line. Finally, we have AC corresponds to DF. Do you remember from what I said this line above the AB means? Well, it means line segment. So we have the first part of our procedure done. Let's continue. The next thing I want to do to determine whether these are similar or not is make these ratios. So I have AB over DE. I have BC over DF, excuse me. I've got AC over DF. And now I've wrote ratios for the following corresponding sides. Finally, I want to include numbers for my sides. AB has the side measure 9. DE has the side measure 3. BC has the side measure 12. And EF has the side measure 4. AC has the side measure 6. And DF has the side measure 2. Finally, I want to take these and simplify them. 9 over 3 is equal to 3. 12 over 4 is equal to 3. And 6 over 2 is equal to 3. So these appear to be similar, but we want to double check that by looking at the angles. Remember, similar triangles and similar shapes have corresponding angles, congruent angles, my apologies, and also their sides are proportional. So we can see then that these sides in fact are proportional and the sides are the same. So therefore we can conclude that yes, these are similar, because the sides are proportional, and the angles are the same. They're the same, but we're going to say congruent instead, because we want to use that fancy math word that starts with a C, congruent, copy. So you can in fact say these are copies of each other. The angles are congruent, my apologies. They're not copies of each other. They are just simply, sides are different. The angles are congruent. These are not, shapes are not congruent. Okay, so there we go. We found out these are similar based off of their sides and the fact that they are congruent. Brr. Let's determine whether these two triangles here are in fact similar, you see. Well, these aren't exactly triangles, are they? They appear just to be two different shapes. So we'll go through our procedure we did up above. First we identify what the corresponding sides are. We have EF corresponds to, do you see it? Do you see it? Do you see? LM. Okay, let's continue with our corresponding sides. We have FG corresponds to M to MN. Next we look at side EF, AH, and that corresponds, do you see it? The LO, it corresponds to LO. Am I missing any other sides? Do you see them? Well, I see side GH here, so I can go ahead and write GH just like that. GH corresponds to no. They're all our corresponding sides. So now, since we have our corresponding sides, we can go ahead and write them as ratios. So we got EF over LM. We've got ourselves a G and FG over an MN. Woo, we got ourselves an EH over an LO. We got ourselves a GH over an NO. Now we've identified what our ratios are relative to our corresponding sides. Do you know what we're going to do next? Well, we simply just going to write the numbers in there. So we got 15 over 6. We've got ourselves an F and G, and we got ourselves an M and N, so we got 10 over 4. 10 over 4. We got ourselves an EH, which is 20. And we got ourselves an LO, which is 8. Finally, we got ourselves a GH, which is 10. And we got ourselves an NO, which is 4. Do you remember what the last thing is we got to do? Well, we've got to make sure we simplify our fractions. So we got 15 over 6 divided by 2. Oh, not 2, but 3 rather. We get 5 over 2. Okay. Sounds like we're on the right track. We got 10 over 2, which is 5. Got 4 over 2, which is 2. Then we got 20 over 8, which is great. Divide both by 2. We get 10 over 4, which is going to simplify to 5 over 2. Then we got 10 over 4, which simplifies to 5 over 2. The last thing we want to check is to make sure our angles are the same. Let's see, these are the same. So we can therefore conclude that these two triangles, well, I should say shapes, these are in fact similar because of their congruent angles and sides. Congruent angles and proportional sides. Similar because of congruent angles. Because of congruent angles. Congruent angles. Similar because of their congruent angles and their proportional sides. We got ourselves one more question we're going to do today, and then we're going to be all finished up, okay? Let's go ahead and continue. We're just going to pause the video just for 1 minute. We got one more question we're going to do now, so let's go ahead and get into it. You may be able to recognize where these shapes are similar before we even start, but maybe you don't see it, so we're just going to go through the process today to figure out where these two triangles are similar. Okay, so let's see, we've got QR here. So we've got QR corresponds to TV, not the TV you watch, not the telly. Then we got QS with the line segment above it, corresponds to, oh, I didn't mark this last angle, just give me 1 minute while I pause the video. Feel free to pause the video if you've got yourself some time to work on this ahead of me. So I added the letter W. Let's continue. So as we were saying, we got QS here and we got TWs here. We've got ourselves one more corresponding angle. These are sides. Do you see those corresponding sides? We got RS. Corresponds to VW. We ain't talking about Volkswagen either. Okay, so we're almost done now. We got in our second step. So we can just write these as ratios. So we got QR over TW. Then we have QS over T. I said W, but I'm not V on the last one. Sorry about that. TW. Then we have RS over VW. So now we've got ourselves our three ratios. The last step then is to write the numbers in them. We got QR, which is 3. We got TV, which is 15. We got ourselves QS, which is 5. We got ourselves DW, which is 20. Lastly, we got ourselves an RS, which is 7. And we got ourselves an DW, which is 28. The last thing we're going to do is simplify. You know what 3 over 15 simplifies to? Well, I'm going to divide them both by 3 just like this. So I get 1 over 5. I'm looking to make sure these are all proportional. I'm going to divide both these here by 5. Try to get one on the full. Oh, I'm noticing some stirring up here. Yep. So we're going to divide both of them by 7 to get 1 over 4. You see why it's so critical to make sure that you check every single side? Because let's say that we just looked at these two, and then we realized that we said they're similar. But we want to check all 3 sides. Now, the last thing we want to check is the angles. So we got ourselves 120, we got 105. Oh, it don't look like the angles are similar. So we got no, they are not similar. Because the sides are not proportional, and the angles ain't the same. So we can say no. I want to thank you for tuning in today and learning about similar figures and proportions. Today's learning goal was I can understand similar figures are proportional. If you want more information on similar figures and proportions, you can check it out on the Khan Academy, or you can just go to page 164 in the textbook. 4-4. Have a great day.